will take this three. Oh my gosh, he gets it to go. And he's in. Oh goodness, and he's still going. Finally tackled, big play for the Eagles. Past the 50-yard line down at the 45. Great defense. That's another block by Philippines. They got his second of the game. Runs into his own guys, tries to cut back, and he'll take a defender with him into the end zone. Touchdown, SouthLake. Powerful run by Malachi Gwen. Can hold flag on the field, but it's got his goal. It's intercepted by Stubb. And an alley-oop to Mason. Oh my God.
Hello and welcome to Eagles Stadium on the campus of SouthLake Christian Academy here in Huntersville, North Carolina. And tonight we have a David and Goliath style matchup in store between the local SouthLake Christian Academy Eagles and a team who made the almost 2-hour trip up here from Greenville, South Carolina, the St. Joseph's Cavaliers. Thursday afternoon, right ahead. We'll be back in just a moment for the face-off. Friday nights under the lights. The roar of the student section, heart-pounding touchdowns, buzzer beaters, and game-winning goals. This is high school sports, and hundreds of local families are watching and listening every single week. Right now, several parents, students, and alumni tune in live to our broadcasts all season long. They're customers, your neighbors, and your biggest fans. So why not put your business in front of the game? When you sponsor SLSN broadcast, your brand travels with every matchup.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by your company. Proud to support our student-run broadcast network. Do you see how great that sounds? So now it's your turn. Be the hometown hero your business already is.
Send us an email over at feedback.slsn@gmail.com to lock in your spot before they're gone. That's feedback.slsn@gmail.com. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. Now go enjoy the rest of this broadcast. All right, welcome in to SouthLake's third home game of the year. And this one will really show what they're made of mentally. Obviously, we talked about in the intro their opponent, St. Joseph's Catholic Knights, 0-8 this season, winless. Haven't had a winning season in their entire history. Perhaps today could be the first if Southlake isn't on their game. But here we go with the face-off. Ethan Hall picks it up, and we're underway in home game number 3. And he's just navigating around defenders. Southlake on offense to start things off. A major part of their game plan, waiting to attack. Griffin Radford with the ball now. And Larson Morgan checks out Ethan Hall. And Liam Jones at midfield. On the right side near the 20, Sklereski behind the goal. Here's Hondros. Gets it across to Alexanian. Back over to Morgan. We saw this in CSD. The same strategy didn't work, but this is a very different team, much smaller, and Southlake has the speed to outrun them. Here's Hondros again. Moving in a circle. Back to Radford. The defense standing and watching on this 83-degree day in Huntersville, North Carolina. Just a day before the final day of the week, 4 days off for Easter break, and Sklereski couldn't handle that one. It'll be an errant throw and a turnover. St. Joseph's Catholic now with possession. The D-pole bringing it up. They didn't put a roster in on Max Preps, so I'll just have to guess who is who. I'll just call them by their position name and then dropped past that time. Swarmed by Southlake. Here comes Alexanian. All alone, a shot, and it's in. An early score for Southlake as they open things up here in the first quarter. And I'd expect nothing less from the team's leader in goal scoring. His 20th goal of the year in just 5 games. You can't do math very well. That's 4 goals per game. And I have a feeling we're in for a lot more of that as this game progresses. Hall retakes his position at the face-off spot. Jumped a little too early. Here comes St. Joseph. We get our first look at their offense today. And Southlake's defense. Andrew McMurtry defending this St. Joseph's offense. Subs come in, they take off their face-off guy, and perhaps they'll take it slow, just like the Eagles did to start us off. But as I mentioned in the intro, they've got to pick up the speed if they want to stick with Southlake. They're already up 1 goal, are the Eagles. So St. Joseph needs to get this ball rolling if they want to stay in this game. Near the 10-yard line on the left side of the goal, excellent defense from Christian McConnell. William Schaefer gets in there, and McConnell gets the takeaway and clears it downfield. Here comes River Lewis, the Wingate commit. Southlake on a fast break. Lewis gets it inside to Hondros. A nice save by the goalie. It'll go out of bounds. And an excellent job defensively for getting back and stopping that play in time. So St. Joseph's will have possession. As they saunter down the field, Alexanian covering back to the goalie. And it's almost like a football play here as the goalie just heaves it downfield, knocked away by the Southlake defense. But here comes St. Joseph's in the crease, deflected by Kearney. And Southlake this time will get there first, so it is now their ball. They've got 20 seconds. Remember, in high school lacrosse, you've got 20 seconds to reach the 50-yard line, and then 10 seconds to get it from the 50-yard line to the opposing team's 30-yard line, which is called the box. So bringing it up now for Southlake is Liam Jones. He's started a lot of games, hasn't scored a goal this season. We'll see if today will be his first of the year. Subs come in for Southlake. The offensive substitutions, Griffin Radford, Larson Morgan right back out there. And Radford, the point guard at the moment in this game, will organize traffic.
More ball movement from SouthLake. Here's Hondros. Cuts. Navigates. Excellent poking from the St. Joseph's defender. He'll keep Hondros at bay, and we'll start this play over again. Radford with it now. Back to Hondros. Just kidding, that was Sklereski. This is Hondros. And there's no shot clock in high school, so theoretically we could do this however long we want to. Hondros. And it is knocked away by the defense looking for the pass. The team's leader in assists. And here comes St. Joseph clearing the ball past the 50-yard line. And now they're on a fast break. McConnell nearly intercepts, knocks the ball away. Excellent defense. Jones recovers. And Southlake will retain possession, but they still got to get past these midfielders of St. Joseph's. Hondros trailing the left sideline. Now he moves inward. Him and Alexanian there together. Alexanian looking for a second goal. Didn't get it. It was deflected by the goalie, but Southlake able to jump on it before it went out of bounds. Radford to Sklereski. And he'll take it behind the X. 6 goals for Ian Sklereski this year. 50% goal shooter. And I was looking at my stat sheet and missed the goal, but we score again! 2-0. So Sklereski scored that one, his 7th goal of the season. And the Eagles up now 2-0 over the Knights. Phenomenal job there by the Southlake offense, just waiting almost till St. Joseph's makes a mistake, and then that's when they make their move. And that guy who just won the faceoff right there has been dominant at the crease. That's Ethan Hall. He's won 58% of the faceoffs he has attempted. He's 40 for 69. This is an absolutely incredible asset for this team. He doesn't start on offense, but it's very important that they win that faceoff. As we saw in the Pine Lake game, that's really what got them back into that game and allowed Alexanian to score his double hat trick as a dangerous clear from St. Joseph's. Knocked away, Ryder White with it now. He'll get it to Connor Williams, who had a goal in their last game against Lake Norman Charter. That one too high over the head of Sklereski. It goes out of bounds. St. Joseph gets it right back. So Southlake's last game, an 8-7 win over Lake Norman Charter in overtime. Christian McConnell got a takeaway, threw it up to Jacob Hondros, who ultimately scored the game-winning goal on a former Southlake student, Max Riggenbach. That one was at Lake Norman Charter's place, but a phenomenal win nonetheless to put Southlake back into the positive in terms of their record. Here we go again. Carter Ward out there, the freshman, on attack at the moment, and already we're seeing some substitutions of players who normally don't play. More ball movement. Jack Morgan has it now. Now they'll get it to Sklereski, and that one will go out of bounds. I won't count it as a shot, so Sklereski will play defense on the depot who heaves it downfield. And Ryder White just intercepts it like the pass was to him. Can Ryder White go coast to coast? He can! Wow, the first ever goal at Southlake for Ryder White. He had an assist last week, and now he's got a goal. Excellent job from Ryder White. And Southlake off to a 3-0 start now here in the first quarter. This thing's getting out of hand early, and if St. Joseph doesn't pick up their pace, they will be out of it completely before you know it. So a timeout called on the field by the Knights. We'll take a short break and resume our first quarter of play on this presentation of Varsity Lacrosse on SLSN. All right, we're back at the crease. Ethan Hall waiting to pounce on his next victim, potentially. Just kidding, he jumped first. So now, here comes St. Joseph's. And Ethan Hall right there to contest that pass. Can it go out of bounds? Hall still there, forces the midfielder out of bounds, and it will be Southlake's ball. Larson Morgan subs out Hall and will take this up for Southlake. Four goals for Morgan this year. He's missed the past few games with a concussion sustained during the Community School of Davidson game. But Carter Ward launches that down right behind the goal. And now out left. Back to Morgan. A complete circle. Southlake going to keep doing this. Jack Morgan gets it to Ward. Now down low and back to Ward. 2 ground balls on the year for Carter Ward. Hasn't played that much, but he has been on the field a little bit. We saw him a little bit in the Pine Lake game and slightly in the CSD game. And a high pass. That one will go out of bounds, and possession will go to the Knights. So already we're seeing great chemistry from Southlake, reading the play, waiting till the St. Joseph's defense gets messed up. And they've done that 3 times for sure, maybe more. The goalie has a save or 2, but nothing too impactful, obviously, because it's still 3-0 in the first quarter. Dangerous pass, but an almost quarterback-like throw from the deep hole. St. Joseph's has it in enemy territory near the 10-yard line. McConnell contests, slashing. Excellent job trying to poke the ball free. Schaefer assists with the turnover. And now McConnell launches it downfield. A bounce pass. Jack Morgan fighting for it. Swarmed by defenders. And he'll finally get it out. And River Lewis nearly had a goal. He was the one that ultimately escaped with it. Goes out of bounds. Southlake's over there to recover it because it was a shot on goal. They'll maintain possession. And now the Eagles looking to add another point to their already 3-point lead. Lincoln Julian seeing his first playing time of the night. He'll give it to Jacob Hondros, who makes a quick cut and attempts to drive toward the goal. Lincoln Julian too far left, just wide of the cage. Recovered by Southlake. They'll try it again. Morgan to Morgan. Here's Hondros. And more of the same playing style we've seen before, time and time again. Now we have a drive. Excellent turnaround. Made a man lose his footing. And somehow St. Joseph's ends up with the takeaway. The deep hole gets it, and he'll look to clear this thing. He has a height advantage over Lincoln Julian, who moves over to contest him. He gets it to his fellow defenseman. And downfield it goes right into the stick of Hondros. Another turnover for St. Joseph's. And Coach McCarthy letting the youngins play. Here they come driving again. Hondros with it now. That was Will Dowens who brought it up. And really they're just trying to run out the clock here, I suppose, here in our first quarter of play. Skloreski checks back in for Southlake. And Alexanian now attacking. Dowens! Good again! Another goal for the Eagles. Their 4th of the game. That time at the hands of the attackman Will Dowens. His 5th goal. And he will continue to be a 100% goal scorer. Hasn't missed. 5 shots, 5 goals for Will Dowens. We're witnessing, I have a feeling, the beginning of a absolute, completely, and utter beatdown. We'll see what happens here at the face-off. Ethan Hall's jumped too early the last 2 times. We'll see what happens here. It is a fair face-off. Hall will win. He's got some speed. He's done this before and went down and scored. St. Joseph's fighting for the ball. They somehow recover it, but the fight's not over. And there might be a penalty on the play. It will be against St. Joseph. Southlake has possession, and it's now in the stick of Liam Jones, still seeking his first goal of the year. Here's Radford. Some of the starters back in for Southlake so far, late in the first quarter. We're not there yet. I got to slow down. Here's Liam Jones again. Now to the X. Carter Ward. Spence. Here's Sklereski. Excellent stick skills from Sklereski. Plays for the Charlotte Miners as his club team. A lot of these guys play club, and it shows, really. So if you look at Southlake's schedule, the first 4 or 5 games, they've called them the gauntlet. Those are really the toughest teams they'll play all year. They've still got a looming conference matchup against Greensboro Day, the former state champions. So Southlake still has work to do, obviously. They can't lose the games that they're expected to win, like this one. But if they play with the mentality that every game is important, then I think we have a chance to really win the whole thing, the state championship for our division. That one goes out of bounds. Sklereski there to recover. If you want to stay up to date on everything regarding SLSN, follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/SLSN.official. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be following us, but that way you can see when we have more broadcasts coming up. And we're the most active on Instagram. And you can also subscribe on YouTube while you're at it and being so generous. Heave downfield for St. Joseph's. But that will end the first quarter of play. Southlake dominating so far. 4-zip our score after 1. We'll be back in a moment for the start of the second quarter. This is another presentation of Varsity Lacrosse on SLSN.
Friday nights under the lights. The roar of the student section, heart-pounding touchdowns, buzzer beaters, and game-winning goals. This is high school sports, and hundreds of local families are watching and listening every single week. Right now, several parents, students, and alumni tune in live to our broadcasts all season long. They're customers, your neighbors, and your biggest fans. So why not put your business in front of the game? When you sponsor SLSN broadcast, your brand travels with every matchup.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by your company. Proud to support our student-run broadcast network. Do you see how great that sounds? So now it's your turn. Be the hometown hero your business already is.
Send us an email over at feedback.slsn@gmail.com to lock in your spot before they're gone. That's feedback.slsn@gmail.com. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. Now go enjoy the rest of this broadcast.
All right, welcome back inside the. Well, I'm inside the field house. We're watching a game at Eagles Stadium here. We've switched ends of the field in terms of goals, so we'll be able to see Southlake's end much easier. Starters are out there right now for Southlake, but as we get further and further into this thing, if St. Joseph's can't make a comeback, this will get real fun because we start digging into the depth chart. Hall, another face-off win, and Lewis quick to scoop it up. Here comes Larson Morgan. And Alexanian and Hondros accompany him. Excellent job from Lewis. And already a goal in the second quarter. Southlake's 5th. Lewis, the Wingate commit, got his 4th. And the lead continues to grow for Southlake Christian. Excellent job of navigating through the defense, using that speed, catching them off the transition, allowing Southlake to cut inside and ultimately get that goal. And excellent work by the long stick midi, River Lewis. Been making plays like that all game. We have a change at the face-off position for St. Joseph's. Number 30 is in there instead of number 19, if that tells you anything. They organize things at center field. And another Ethan Hall win. He's going to try to take it himself. No. He gets it to Will Downs. Can't quite make the catch. That one goes out of bounds. St. Joseph's ball. So as we mentioned, St. Joseph, well, to put it lightly, it's been a rough go of it in terms of their lacrosse program. Started in 2014, 11 years ago, really. 11 to 11 and a half. Alexandrian just got a steal, by the way. Here comes Downs. I'll finish my story in a second. But St. Joseph's never had a winning season. The closest they've gotten is 6-7. Anyway, Liam Jones, now with it, he'll get it to Hondros, located just left of the X position. And St. Joseph still yet to get a win so far in this one. Hondros covered well. Gets it to Alexandrian, the leading goal scorer. Back to Jones. Just kidding, that was Radford. This is Morgan, who has two defenders in front of him. Gets it to Jones. Hondros. Here's Dowens. Dowens not the biggest player, but he's certainly got stick skills and can be shifty. Here's Griffin Radford. Fakes out the defense. Look out for Will Downs. His cut inside, swamped by three defenders right now. Alexandrian gets it to Jones. Hondros now. And he might try to make a go of it. Shot saved by the keeper. Hondros was looking for the top center. And the goaltender got the stick up there just in time. He'll try to clear this thing. And it's right into the stick of SouthLake Christian. Christian McConnell has it now, and he is now playing offense before he unselfishly gives up the ball. But he's staying down here. We'll see if Christian McConnell can get his first goal of the season. As Jacob Hondros with it now. Morgan. Shot is in. Larson Morgan, after missing the past two games. Another goal, and Southlake 6-0 is winning this game. If you're St. Joseph's, the morale is, starting to plummet, as they say. As it is now a 6-point lead for Southlake Christian Academy. I can no longer count the points on one hand, if that says anything, and we're just in the second quarter. No response from the Knights so far. Face-off time. Ethan Hall going against number 30. If you're just joining us, no, they did not put their roster in max preps, did the St. Joseph Knights. So we're just going with it and just calling them by their position. Ethan Hall trucks a few guys, allows, who is that? Liam Jones to get the face-off. And a shot by Lewis, no good. And they'll call that a pass. That was pretty dang close to the goal. But I'm no official, and so St. Joseph will have the ball, and they'll try to drive it upfield. Nearly tipped away by Lewis. Southlake's defense has really been suffocating so far in this game. Schaefer in there trying to stop number 18, who's running down the field. And the Knights will form up. Schaefer trailing. And almost a chance for a St. Joseph's score. Lost the ball. Southlake fighting for it. It'll go out of bounds. They'll call that a pass. It's now Southlake's ball. Reed Kearney in the cage so far for Southlake. 0 goals allowed. He's got it now. Chuck it to Connor Williams. Perhaps we will see some offense from the defense. And yes, we will. Williams still in there, and he's tall, so if you get him inside, he'll be able to catch it over guys. Unfortunately, he unselfishly goes back to the position he is known for, and subs come in for Southlake, the offensive guys back out there. Jack Morgan. Over to the left side. Sklereski to Dowens. Morgan. Both Morgans on offense at the moment. He'll get it to Alexanian. Back to Jack Morgan. He wants a goal. Won't get it. Pass to Sklereski. Having trouble, and it goes out of bounds. Off the pass. St. Joseph's gets it. Well, the Knights have had their opportunities. We've had a few errant passes from Southlake that have gone out of bounds, allowing the Knights to get the ball back. But as you saw right there, they can't clear worth a darn, and River Lewis now has it. Perhaps he'll look for his second goal of the night. Just kidding. He'll go out of bounds to be subbed out. Jacob Hondros, the assist leader, coming onto the field for Southlake, who will get it from Liam Jones. 16 assists for Hondros. He'll take a shot at it, and he's got it. The second goal of the game for number 2, and now Southlake a 7-0 lead here in the second quarter. Man, it's getting ugly. Well, if you're a fan of the SouthLake Christian Eagles, this is exactly what you wanted to see. You didn't want to see them treat this game as a practice. You wanted them to see it as just another game on the schedule, be professional about it, not come into the game on their high horse, so to speak. And so far, I mean, we've seen that. The 7-0 lead is evidence. Hall finally loses a face-off. And a yard sale on the guy who won it. St. Joseph's can't get the ball back. They try to truck our man out of bounds. Instead, they'll get the ball from Hall, and here they come. Looking to score on Kearney, wide left, no good. And the Knights back there to recover it. I think, they're going to call this Southlake. So the ball went into the back left corner, and Ryder White was back there to maintain possession. That one in and out of the stick of Jones. Lewis tips it up to Connor Williams. Morgan, he is not 7 feet tall. Right over his head of the stick. It goes out of bounds. We'll give it right back to St. Joseph's. And they'll try this again. Scoreless so far. About 3 shots on goal. Kearney deflected a few. And a few have just missed. Here's Lincoln Julian, who got an interception. Gives it up to Hondros, who cuts it inside. Dowens nearly got a goal. St. Joseph's attempting to clear. If you're the Knights, not the game so far that you would want to drive 2 hours from home for. And they will call a timeout. So we'll take a short break, the second timeout of the half for St. Joseph's. Southlake winning 7-0, and this game is getting ugly. If you want to see it get uglier, stay tuned. 2 more quarters right after this. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, We're about to resume play here in the second quarter following the St. Joseph's timeout, who still remains scoreless. Now they've got a shot driving Connor Williams there to intercept. St. Joseph's trying to knock that one in. It won't go. Excellent job by Kearney and the defense to force another turnover. Connor Williams bringing it up for the Eagles. Excellent way to bow up for the defense. River Lewis now. Most of the starters still in the game, but Andrew McMurtry out there playing midfield. Alexanian has it all alone on the right side, one-on-one. Now up to Hondros, who is now in the point guard position. Will Downs, the closest one to the X. Now Morgan moves back there. Hondros to Sklereski. Can't handle that one. Something must be going on with his stick. In terms of catching, he's able to knock that out. Excellent heads-up play from Sklereski. And now Hondros gets it to Larson Morgan. An attempted shot from Downs. Couldn't get it to go. And St. Joseph's just kicking this one around like they're playing soccer. And they finally end up with it. Southlake's offense not done. They want to turn over. Alexanian intercepts, and it's almost too easy. Second goal of the night for Anthony Alexanian. And boy, did he make that goalkeeper look foolish. It didn't even look like he was trying out there. Wow. Phenomenal job from Anthony Alexanian. It is now 8-0. And we're nearing the double digits. Then I will officially be out of hands to count numbers on. Hall back at the crease. Number 19 instead of number 30 will go against him in the war that is called the face-off. Hall, excellent job. Oh my gosh, look at those reflexes. Can't get it though, can't keep it in his stick. He manages to get it. Hall, driving. Oh, he could have had a shot on the goal, but here's Alexanian. Don't worry, he'll clean it up for you. Hat trick for Alexanian. What a job by Anthony Alexanian. Hasn't had a game where he scored under 2 goals, including this one right here. This has gone 3, 5, 6, 2, 3, and now he's got 3 more in this incredible performance. And the offense is just making friends with the St. Joseph's defense. If you're going to get blown out 9-0 in the first half, might as well have fun doing it. Lincoln Julian goes upstairs for that awesome catch. Hall goes out. And the offensive subs come in for Southlake. Hondros back out there. Well, Hondros is at the X. That's David Hauser. See what he has in store. Alexanian still out there. Jack Morgan. And I'm assuming Southlake will take out most of their starters following the second half, if they don't take them out later in the half, in the quarter. Alexanian. Here's Hauser. Perhaps he would like to get in on the scoring. So would this guy, Lincoln Julian. Now Alexanian. And it almost looks like Southlake's offense is slowing down a bit. They have the speed to get by these defenders, as we've seen so many times in this game, 9 times specifically. But it looks like they're just playing a more low-key brand of lacrosse at the moment. See what Alexanian does. Looking for his 4th goal. Now Scanning gets it to Julian. Here's Hauser at the X. The freshman kicks it out to Hondros. Here's Julian. Southlake picking up the pace now. Julian, excellent stick skills and a beautiful underhand pass to Hondros, who has got 2 goals already in this one. Southlake may be just trying to run out the clock so that we can head to halftime. Here's Alexanian. There's some of the speed. Alexanian, another goal. 4th. Wait, no, that's 5th. And, you know, as we reach the double digits, you almost have to consider, you know, think to yourself, when is it almost bullying? I mean, Alexanian has just been dominant, and he's not even trying at the moment. Southlake up 10-zip as they enter into double-digit numbers. We'll see him go at it at the face-off crease once again. Hall fighting for it, gets it. Wait, that wasn't even Hall. Who was that? Was that Eli Johnson? He hasn't played really at all this year. Dowens shoots. Oh, he had an opportunity. He's disappointed he missed it. Just over the top right of the cage. Southlake gets it. Julian was back there to recover. And we just saw Eli Johnson win his first ever face-off. Big play for him. Carter Ward now gets it to Morgan. And Larson Morgan another goal. But there's a flag. Was he in the crease? Oh, no. We'll see what the head official says. And the goal will count. It was an illegal check by St. Joseph's. Doesn't matter. 11-0 our score. Southlake running away with it if they weren't already. We're not even out of the second quarter yet. At this point, it might be 21-0. Soon enough. But hey, that means we'll get into more exciting things like the backups playing. Maybe Coach McCarthy will get some of these younger guys out there, show us what they've got, and show him that, hey, if you need depth options, that they're the players that he needs to look for. Eli Johnson will try to win his second faceoff. Oh, he knocks it out, and that is technically a win recovered by Southlake. Eli Johnson, 2 for 2 from the faceoff X. Dylan Sanders, the one who jumped on top of it so quickly. Alexanian still has it, and now Dowens comes back on along with the offensive subs for Southlake. Here's Ian Sklereski. Jacob Hondros at the X to Morgan now. Dowens to Ward. Sklereski already a goal tonight. Here's Hondros. Tries to get it in himself. It was faking like he was going to pass it. He does lead the team in assists. Went for the goal. Knocked away by the keeper. Now it's back to Hondros, and Southlake will try the whole thing again. Morgan rips one, and it goes right down the middle of the goal. And Larson Morgan getting up there with Alexanian in this top scorer battle almost. Hat trick for Larson Morgan. 2 guys for Southlake have 3 goals. Unbelievable showing. My fingers are getting tired from typing up the new scores. 12-0. As Ethan Hall will now take Eli Johnson's spot at the faceoff X. Why not beat him down a little more? Off we go. Just another day at the office for Ethan Hall. He manages to hang on to the ball. It's still in the air, and it's behind Southlake. They lost track of it. Now it's intercepted by Dylan Sanders. Here he comes, full head of steam, running down the middle of the field. He'll kick it out to Will Dowens. Alexanian now on the bench. Some new guys in there for Southlake, including Brady Landreth, who is at the X. Jack Morgan up at the top. David Hauser out there. Ian Sklereski, Lincoln Julian, and Will Dowens. Your offense right now for Southlake. Sklereski fires. Another goal! Southlake. No chill. Even though we're not even at halftime yet. 13-0. And, I mean, yikes. If you know what I mean. St. Joseph's had the ball in their territory earlier in the half. But, I mean, since they've called timeout, it's just been nothing. Absolutely nothing. Eli Johnston, can he go 3 for 3? Oh, did he jump too early? He did. That's okay. You'll get him next time, Eli. Defensive subs coming out for Southlake. And River Lewis, excellent pickpocket-like steal. And Lewis clears. That's it. We have reached the half, an excellent and dominant, and all the words you can describe awesomeness with. That's what kind of showing it was for Southlake, 13-0. Won't have halftime analysis this time around just because, I mean, what is there to talk about? Southlake's playing phenomenal. St. Joseph, no answer. We'll be back for the second half of play in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is another presentation of Varsity Lacrosse on SLSN.
Friday nights under the lights. The roar of the student section, heart-pounding touchdowns, buzzer beaters, and game-winning goals. This is high school sports, and hundreds of local families are watching and listening every single week. Right now, several parents, students, and alumni tune in live to our broadcasts all season long. They're customers, your neighbors, and your biggest fans. So why not put your business in front of the game? When you sponsor SLSN broadcast, your brand travels with every matchup.
Well, it is finally time for the third quarter of play. In case you missed it, you can look at the scoreboard. It's 13-0. SouthLake Christian a dominant first half. And as you can see, the backups and people who don't even play the right positions are now on the field. Connor Williams on the offensive side. Xavier Keogh out there as well. John Balzarak also plays baseball out there. And Ethan Hall still winning at the face-off X. Just kidding, I was reading the defense. What am I doing? It's so much of a blowout, I'm losing my mind. And Carter Ward now has it. He'll get it to Lincoln Julian as we resume play here in this one on the beautiful Wednesday night that it is. An earlier game time tonight than usual, usually at around 7 o'clock. Tonight, we got it at 6. And so Jack Morgan now running point. Can't hang on to that one. St. Joseph's trying to steal it. And they do. Still in the fray is number 19. The ghost face-off man. That is a penalty on Southlake. They won't call that. Well, they might call that tripping. It's on Jack Morgan. So, St. Joseph's has the ball now. And boy, do they need help on the offensive side of the ball. Especially clearing, that's been a major weakness so far for them. Carter Ward covering the St. Joseph's attackmen. Excellent poking. Connor Williams there to help him out. And Williams kicks this one free. Now he gets a takeaway. Downfield it goes. John Balzarak coming in at full speed. Well, he scores first goal of the season. And looking for Julian. Looks like that one's a turnover. Recovered by St. Joseph's. Here they come again. Back and forth. So far in the first quarter of play. In the second half. And a wide throw from St. Joseph's. And they didn't even try to go after that ball. Excellent job by Jake Landreth showing hustle. And St. Joseph ultimately recovers it. Out of bounds it goes. And the frustration is starting to mount for the Knights. Southlake gets it right back. David Hauser bringing it up. And he's sprinting at full speed. Also a wide receiver and defensive back on the football team this year. Here comes Jack Morgan. Low shot. And it went in. Jack Morgan getting in on the scoring with our first goal of the second half. And his first goal of his lacrosse career at Southlake. Freshman. And, might as well get one tonight. 14-0 now our score here in the third. Southlake, giving no quarter, even though it's the backups playing, it's not the starters, which I will give Coach McCarthy credit for, but, it's getting ugly. River Lewis will now try his hand at the face-off. And hopefully we'll just see players just start having fun here in a moment. Lewis fighting for it. The big body, 30, trying to get it away from him. Lewis ultimately victorious. And downfield he goes. He'll shoot off the chest of the goalie and right into the stick of, I believe that's Ian Sklereski. So here's Larson Morgan. Already 3 goals tonight for him. They'll get it back to, that was Lewis. Now he'll resume his position on defense as the defensive midfielder. David Hauser will take his place. In terms of field position, man, what a dominant showing so far for Southlake. an exciting month is the month of April for seniors, the last month of school. Senior Assassin just started today on Wednesday. So if you're a senior and you're listening to this, don't come get me whilst I'm broadcasting. But a nice goal there. Was that who I think it is? It was Eli Johnson. Phenomenal goal. He dominated at the face-off X. 2 for 3 there. And a phenomenal goal. His first of his career at Southlake in varsity lacrosse. And his teammates cheer him on. Now, do my eyes deceive me? No, they do not. Corey Daniel now playing offense out there for Southlake Christian. He has not played at all this year, really. Maybe against South Iredell in that 19-0 win. But we'll see what he can do here. Let me fix this score, 15-0. How could I miss a point? And Ethan Hall wins that face-off to everyone's surprise. Corey Daniel fighting for the ball. St. Joseph's recovers. Nope, just kidding. Jake Landreth recovered, and he'll give it to Dylan Sanders, who will try to press the envelope for Southlake. Corey Daniel has it. He's getting playing time. And now they'll give it to the X. And Jack Morgan can't hang on to that one. Just had the second most recent goal. Here's David Hauser. Spins. Now he'll move back out. Jack Morgan, also a fellow football player. Played linebacker this year for the Eagles. Ian Skloreski still out there. And he'll take it now. He's got a couple goals tonight. Over to the left side, back to Skloreski. In a shot. Over the cage. Southlake. Are you kidding me? He made that? Ian Skloreski got it in! My goodness. He was a couple yards out, but it didn't matter. Excellent accuracy from Ian Skloreski. Another goal. And he has been phenomenal so far tonight, along with a lot of this Southlake team. He was 1 for 4 in terms of goal shooting last game against Lake Norman Charter. And a pretty consistent goal scorer for this Southlake squad. 16 zip. Absolutely no answer from St. Joseph's Catholic Knights. And Larson Morgan takes that face off. He's one of the more experienced at it. And he'll turn it over to the Knights. And here they come now driving. And another errant pass. Man, if these guys could pass and catch, who knows, they might have scored by now. There's a penalty on... Yes, that was on the Knights. They just took Dylan Sanders off of his feet. And so Griffin Radford retakes the field to get him some more playing time. And he'll have it to kick things off for Southlake playing point guard. Here's Corey Daniel. Back to Radford. Nice pass, Corey. And excellent ball movement from Southlake. The defense slashing at the man behind the goal at the X. Was that River Lewis? Perhaps. Nope, that was Jake Landreth. Here's Jack Morgan. Radford. No goal. Wide left. Southlake over there to stay on top of it. They'll keep the ball. But anyway, as I was saying earlier, Senior Assassin started today, and you know it's stressful. Okay, I'm looking over my shoulder. I feel like I'm in a spy movie or something. We'll see who wins, but it's like a pot of $800. Everyone who's playing put in $20. All seniors have a teammate that are playing, so 2 people per team. And you have to have some form of aquatic wear, goggles and floaties primarily, to give you immunity in this game. One team is hunting you down, and you don't know who that team is. Your team is also hunting somebody down. And you can see the people you're hunting down, that you can see their location on a map. So it's very, very paranoid boosting game almost. But you know, it's a lot of fun First day of it, everyone's wearing their goggles, unfortunately. But if you get sprayed with the water gun without your goggles on, you are out. It doesn't matter if your teammate was safe and just you got sprayed. You're all out if you get sprayed. So don't get sprayed, okay? Here's Griffin Radford with it now. Perhaps we should get back to calling lacrosse. Here's Jack Morgan. And Radford. Oh, Daniel could have had a chance to score. Just missed his stick. Did the pass from Radford. It goes out of bounds. Since that was a pass, it will be a turnover. Here comes St. Joseph's. A team from Greenville, South Carolina. If you've ever been to Greenville, absolutely phenomenal place, phenomenal city. Too bad their lacrosse team has not been that tonight. And a pass nearly went out of bounds. Excellent save from St. Joseph's. John Balzarak manages to scoop it up. Now he lost it, goes out of bounds, and St. Joseph's ball. Lots of young players out there. And oh my gosh, number 7, Amari Bennett, has taken the field. The senior legend, defensive midfielder, a beast, if you will. You'll see in just a moment. They unleashed him. This is an act of war from Southlake at the moment and Coach McCarthy. We'll see what he can do. He's playing D-Midi right now. So St. Joseph's will try to slow things down and at least go home with something to show for this game. Perhaps a goal. That would be nice. Connor Williams chasing down the offenseman and will ultimately force that shot wide. Here comes John Balzarak. And it will go out of bounds. He nearly had that one and had a fast break. But again, the ball will stay in St. Joseph's territory. And this is the most they've had the ball in the last quarter and a half. So you wonder if perhaps they will score something here. Remember, these are the second and third string players for Southlake playing right now, and they're still holding off St. Joseph's right now. Connor Williams is out there, sure, but a lot of these guys never play. Logan Brooks is out there as well playing defense. Jake Landreth, Connor Williams, Amari Bennett, Reed Kearney stays in the goal. Xavier Keogh and John Balzarak, your defense for Southlake. Excellent scoop up from Williams. And the same thing happens again. It goes out of bounds in the same spot again. St. Joseph's will have the ball. We resume play. And although I can't see the scoreboard from my position at the moment, I'm looking at a vertical view of the field. I'm pretty sure that the clock will run for the rest of this game. 16-0 our score. And yep, the clock was running that whole time. That is the end of the third quarter. Southlake asserting their dominance over the St. Joseph's Catholic Knights. We'll be back with the final quarter of play in just a moment. It's Varsity Lacrosse on SLSN. One more quarter to go. 16-0. Southlake has run away with it and more. As River Lewis wins a faceoff, we've switched ends of the field. Ethan Hall out there playing offense now. Here he goes. He'd like to get a goal. Loses control of the ball. Corey Daniel hustles in there, almost gets it. It's a turnover for St. Joseph's, and now they're driving. Perhaps they can beat Southlake in transition, and I mean, these guys are just as demoralized as you can get, for sure. They need 16 goals to come back in this game. Passing around. And the Southlake defense is all back there now. The defensive subs are in. Connor Williams no longer on the field. All backup lineup at the moment. Balzarak contests the pass. Jake Landreth, an excellent stick to poke that ball loose. And Balzarak fighting for it. Did they call a penalty? Yep, it was on Southlake. Probably holding or something. Nothing worthy of the penalty box. Can't see the officials' hands from all the way down here. But all that's important is that St. Joseph's has the ball. Excellent contest from Dylan Sanders. The low shot to the right corner was saved by Kearney. And now he'll clear it and get things going again for this Southlake offense. Landreth heaves it downfield. Caught by Lewis, who is still on the field. Perhaps he's trying to add high school tape. He does start. So I'm slightly confused as to why he's out there, but now he's headed to the sub box to sub out. Eli Johnson, and also an attacker on the field. Brady Landreth out there with his brother. David Hauser looking for Corey Daniel. It's scooped up by Brady Landreth, brother of Jake. Here comes David Hauser. Cuts, moves out. He has got some speed and some juke moves, but hasn't been able to make that move to get completely inside of scoring territory. Eli Johnson. Brady Landreth. Back to Johnson. Oh my gosh, he did it again! Wow, get this kid a D1 offer. 2 goals, 3 face-off wins for Eli Johnson. He's kicking them while they're down, and I'm here for it. Wow. Okay. Another goal for Southlake. 17-0 our score over St. Joseph's. Unfortunately for the Knights, they'll head home as losers yet again, and we'll move down to 0-9. No bueno. Eli Johnson with the adrenaline from that last shot, which was beautiful, by the way. Bottom left corner of the cage. He'll now head to the face-off X. Perhaps he wants to have an even bigger impact. He knocks that one free. Nearly a face-off win. He's still fighting for it. And he gets it knocked down by the defense of St. Joseph's. They'll call that a penalty. Great effort. I almost sounded like the Frosted Flakes Tiger. Great effort from Eli Johnson, allowing Southlake to maintain possession, hustling after the ball. Larson Morgan checks back in to take Johnson off. And here comes Jack Morgan, playing point guard right now for this Southlake offense. Well, more exciting news in the month of April, the final month, technically, of school for my senior compatriots. AP exams, first week of May for most of them. And then after that, we're home free. Getting to that, it's hard to believe we're at this time of the year, late in spring. NFL draft is just 24 days away. Penalty for tripping on St. Joseph's. The clock will continuously run for the rest of this game. Larson Morgan will take it up for Southlake. And I want to see Corey Daniel get a shot in here. Will Dowens is out there. He is a starter. Brady Landreth to Carter Ward. Here's Morgan. Oh, looking to feed Corey Daniel. It was knocked away by the defense. Perhaps an opportunity to score, but St. Joseph's will get possession. off we go again. You can hear the coach yelling, Boston. Uh-oh, big collision for SouthLake, guys. They ran into each other. That was Jack Morgan and Andrew Mason seeing his first playing time of the night. Not in the start you wanted, sir, but John Balzrak over there playing defense. St. Joseph moving the ball around. Kearney, excellent save. Great reflexes to get the stick up there in time. But that is a turnover. And excellent defense from SouthLake. Landreth hit it with his arm, and he's hurting, but it was worth it, Jake. It's still a shutout. And so the ball now belongs to St. Joseph's. There's a flag. An illegal slash, I believe. There was some kind of flag. I'm unsure what it is. I don't think they scored. Did St. Joseph score? We've heard no announcement from the PA announcer, so I'm going to guess no. SouthLake's defensive unit still out there. Andrew McMurtry checking into the game. So it was a slash on Xavier Keogh for SouthLake. St. Joseph's, hey, now they're a man up. Maybe that'll help them out a bit. Our first, box penalty of the game in terms of man up, man down, all that kind of thing. You've got the defenders down here for St. Joseph's practicing shots. And now on the left side, St. Joseph's looking to break into this Southlake defense. Connor Williams is back out there, and he's just towering over this team. Good contest from Ryder White, but the ball touched his stick last. It went out of bounds, so it'll stay St. Joseph's ball. Well, Southlake eyeing the 4-2 record, barring a miraculous 17-point goal that could potentially happen. Never, I guess. But Southlake establishing themselves as a presence in their conference, which is a fairly small conference. Teams like Greensboro Day, Cary Christian, which they'll play later on in the year. That's at home, by the way. Stick around for the broadcast for that. Follow us on Instagram. But, I mean, they're back into the win column. They were back into the win column last week following that 10-point loss to CSD. But now it looks like they're starting to find their rhythm and really play as a team. You saw the offense down here. Really, they weren't able to do anything for CSD. They had some injuries in terms of Will Dowens and other players like that. I believe Larson Morgan, also another one who was injured during that game. But tonight, they're just moving fluidly. Even the backups have some solid chemistry, as we've seen. They're taking the right opportunities, and Southlake is dominating. Here comes Christian McConnell. He's on the offensive side of the ball. Perhaps he wants a goal. Corey Daniel, shot, no good. Just right of the cage. Would have been a historical moment for the freshman. Can't get it to go. But Southlake recovers it. That was a shot on goal, so they maintain possession. Andrew Mason gets it up to McConnell, who for some reason is playing point guard with a long pole. And it is a timeout for Southlake. We'll take a short break here. It's an absolute catastrophic blowout for the Knights, but a monumental victory for Southlake, and the morale is high here at Eagles Stadium. We'll finish off the game and be right back in just a moment. we go. Joining me in the broadcast booth for this disgusting blowout is Jackson Robateau. Post-golf match interview. Jackson, how did the golf match go?
It was, let's just say, a little uninteresting, honestly. It was kind of just a really bad course. Just got the greens punched, just a bunch of dog legs. Our number 2 had to withdraw because of back pain. But we ended up pulling out the win by 4 strokes, and all in all, just a great day for the team.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent performance. So, how did you do?
Shot a 43 today.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I don't speak golf, but that sounds good. And he confirms it. Jacob Hondros approaching the crease over the head of Corey Daniel, who I still want to see get a goal, by the way. But he has been so close and hasn't been able to convert. Here's the animal Eli Johnson. And now they'll give it back to Hondros, who recovers in his stick. And they'll just pass this thing around as we run out the clock. There are still fans in the stadium, just none for St. Joseph's for obvious reasons, as Lincoln Julian now has possession of it. Man, even Charlotte lacrosse is coming up. I mean, Charlotte is just a hub for excellent sports teams. Take a look at the Hornets and an absolutely enormous turnaround, to put it lightly, for that team under head coach Charles Lee. And then you have, obviously, the best team in North Carolina, not talking about the Hurricanes, the Carolina Panthers. I mean, golly. Did you see their free agency moves? You can't get much better than that. I mean, Dave Canales, Dan Morgan, the front office, including Brant Tillis, doing a phenomenal job organizing that roster and attacking their needs like there's no tomorrow. Devin Lloyd, Jalen Phillips. I mean, the defense is stacked. So that those additions really left the fans, I guess, guessing in terms of their first-round pick at 19 in the NFL draft. Just 24 days away from that. Shot from Skloreski. Nope, that was Brady Landry. That was no good. But another turnover for St. Joseph's. Here comes John Balzarak. And some kind of penalty on SouthLake. It's a turnover. St. Joseph's has it. But as I was saying, there are currently no glaring holes in terms of the Carolina Panthers roster. They could get Kenyon Sadiq. They could get an offensive tackle like Caden Proctor. They could get a safety, Dylan Thieneman, or Thieneman, whatever, is available. Excellent clear from Southlake. Amari Bennell rushing down the field. That pass from Landreth was deflected. Amari's fighting for it, and that will do it. 17-0, our score to close out this one in the fourth quarter. The Eagles go get their goalie, and so do the St. Joseph's Knights as they'll head home dejected. But the morale doesn't look too low. They're kind of used to this, unfortunately. What a dominant performance from Southlake. Now all Eagles fans can go home happy and hit the long weekend enjoying it after this phenomenal win from Southlake Christian. Leading goal scorer, as usual, Anthony Alexandrian, 5 goals on the night. And that will do it for us here at SLSN. Thanks for sticking with us. Next week is a crazy schedule. We have a broadcast on Wednesday. And no, it's Thursday and Friday of next week. 2 home games. It'll be a lot of fun. Jackson should hopefully be here for one of those, barring any golf tournaments. But, yeah, make sure you stick around. Follow us on all social media, Instagram in particular, because we're the most active over there. But, yeah, subscribe on YouTube. Thanks for sticking with us. This was a fun broadcast talking about really whatever I wanted to because, you know, the lacrosse game didn't change at all. Southlake started dominantly, finished dominantly, and will end up winning 17-0. For Bennett Hart, our entire crew here at SLSN, we say thanks so much again for watching. Take care, and until next time, good night.